New mortgage applications have jumped in the past week. That doesn't mean that you are going to be able to avoid, depending which lender you use, some of these excessive fees that come around at closing time.
Yeah, you kind of think that with all the explosion in demand of mortgages in the last few years, that may have reduced the cost of the mortgage companies, and you'd see that coming down in fees. But no, this is a straight supply and demand thing. Lots more people getting mortgages, and they're sneaking some fees in there.
Jim Nutter is with James B. Nutter Mortgage. He's really trying to educate people about these fees. He describes them as junk fees, telling home buyers to beware. Jim joins us now.
Good to see you, Jim.
Hi there.
I got to tell you, I don't, and you're really the expert on refinancing, but how do you even know what's a junk fee and what's not? I get my phone bill every month, and there are fees on there that I think are junk, and you get there are all sorts of bills where they build in administrative fees and all sorts of things. How do you know when it comes to a mortgage? Because you're not familiar with it.
Well, actually, administrative fee is one of those fees that is a junk fee. But basically, if it quacks like a duck and it looks like a duck, it sort of is a duck.
Right.
The big junk fees are processing fee, underwriting fee, broker processing fee, broker origination fee, document preparation fee, because these are all extra fees that us as a mortgage banker already do.
This is the cost of doing business for you. This should be included in what you make off the mortgage.
Exactly. This is the cost that we as a company for 53 years have been doing, and not charging these fees, and getting by as a company, and I think it's good business to not charge these fees.
Right, but you know, lawyers have been doing this forever, right? They charge you their hourly fee, and then they charge you for every phone call they make and every photocopy they make. Doesn't make it illegal, right?
Not as long as they disclose it up front. Right. That's the whole key. If they disclose it up front, it is not illegal.
Right.
Unfortunately, these all started off as $25 here, $50 here. We are now talking about $500 for a processing fee, $500 for a closing fee. We are now talking about easily $1,500, $2,000. HUD has come out against junk fees.
Right.
They estimate on an average mortgage loan, it costs $700 extra charges.
The extra, not the legitimate charges.
Not legitimate, extra charges. So if I've calculated it based on the 2003 volume, that means $17 billion was charged on these junk fees to borrowers across America that went straight into lenders' pockets. And that just isn't right. The borrowers of America should be upset about this.
And they were probably down, even if they're getting it on a good faith estimate, they're probably far enough down the road. It's not easy to put together a mortgage application. By the time you fill out all the documents, photocopy everything they need, you're worn down at the point that you get that good faith estimate, and you might be inclined just to pay it to get on with it.
Well,
yeah, it's a bad time to pull out of a deal.
Yeah, that's why you need to do this up front before you sign anything. You need to basically ask 3 questions. We have the smartest borrowers in America there's ever been, the most sophisticated borrowers ever. They know to ask the interest rate. They know to ask the term. They just need to go one step further and ask the closing costs. If, for instance, you've got it down to 2 lenders, and Company A and Company B are both the same interest rate, and they're both the same term, and Company A charges $1,000 of closing costs, and Company B charges $2,500 of closing costs, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go with a guy charging $1,000 of closing costs and getting the same deal.
One of the things that you made a comment on in a letter you wrote to USA Today was that something that's been advocated by some that are pushing for reform here is a one fee. It's all rolled into one fee. You say the problem with that is that then you hide the junk.
You can hide it. It'd be the first time in consumer-oriented history that you'd actually hide something from the consumer, okay?
Yeah.
I want the consumer, the borrower, to be able to ask that person face-to-face, why are you charging me this $500 fee?
Right.
Why are you charging me this $500 fee?
The problem with that, Jim, is that the response often is, oh, that's standard. That's the processing fee. You're going to pay that everywhere.
That is so correct. And that's what makes me so mad, is when I hear that, that means they're lumping our company and my company into this. And we don't charge this. And we never have, and we're not going to.
But are you 1% of the industry, or are you 20% of the industry? How many people don't charge this? In other words, has the industry run away with these fees to the point that it just becomes the way it is?
Well, unfortunately, I believe we're in the minority.
Right.
I can't give an exact fee, a percent right now. But I can tell you, just for us as a company, we don't believe we need to charge that. I want to shoot you the straight scoop.
Right.
Okay? And I believe that's good business. Okay? Because I want to get you back for your next deal. Okay?
You don't want me to be upset about it and not come back to you because
and I want you to tell your cousin, your brother, your sister, your neighbor to come to James B. Nutter and Company. We're in this for the long haul. We've been around for 53 years, hopefully for another 53 years. I believe that's good business. Again, but that's what makes me so mad, is that when they say, oh, everybody charges it, because then we get lumped into it.
Jim, good to have you here. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
Jim's the president and CEO of James B. Nutter Mortgages.